Welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you almost immediately after a 6-2 Texas Rangers victory over the Kansas City Royals. Great day to be a Rangers fan, and I'm glad that the Rangers are able to put their best foot forward in the opening game of a Kansas City Royals series that is, by all accounts and measures, not going to be an easy one. Awesome that the Rangers take the first game in this one. We're going to get into all of the key moments, the scoring, the box score, all that good stuff here in just a little bit. Of course, guys, here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you for joining us tonight, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Let's go ahead and get into this one. So Nate Eovaldi pitching for the Rangers tonight. And if you remember, Evo had a little bit of a rough start last time out against the Mariners. Mariners, of course, really, really good ball club. But Evo did not look himself against the Mariners last time out. The line that Evo had in that game, 3 innings pitched, right? Evo only made it 3 innings, gave up 4 hits, had 4 walks in that game. So you're talking about 8 base runners in 3 innings, 4 earned runs. It was not a very good Evo start. Definitely not a quintessential Nate Eovaldi start. Tonight, exactly the opposite. Absolutely dominant performance by Nate Eovaldi. He goes 6 strong, 4 hits, just 1 walk. So you're talking about 5 base runners and 6 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. Quality start. Really, really needed for the Rangers to have that kind of outing in the first game of a tough series against the Royals. So glad to see Evo come out, do his job, and then the Rangers bats answered the bell. It kind of looked for a while there like it was going to be kind of a typical Rangers game. Really, really good pitching, really, really bad offense. But thanks to Wyatt Langford and Marcus Semien, it is not all for naught. The pitching performance that is by Nate Eovaldi, it does not go wasted. The Rangers end up winning the game 6-2, in large part to a 5-run 6th inning. Wasn't that fun to watch? We have not been treated to many 5-run innings. I feel like we haven't been treated to many multi-run innings this season with the Rangers. Now, look, I know that I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. This Rangers offense, it's not often you see a ton of crooked numbers, especially not a 5 in the box score. So to see the Rangers put up 5 runs in the 6th inning, it was huge. Obviously, the difference in the ball game. Marcus Semien had a lot to say about those 5 runs being scored with a clutch RBI, 3 RBI, double, cleared the bases. That's the kind of hitting, honestly, that the Rangers have been missing. You look at the box score tonight, runners in scoring position, outstanding. The Rangers went 4 for 7. And Marcus Semien's hit to clear the bases there in the bottom of the 6th inning, big part of that reason why that average was so high tonight with runners in scoring position for the Rangers. Kind of crazy. The Rangers actually left 6 runners on base tonight. So it could have been a lot worse. You remember in the early innings, the Rangers loaded the bases, didn't get a whole lot out of it. I believe that was the bottom, was it like of the 4th inning or something like that? I think it was bottom of the 4th inning. Rangers end up loading the bases. Jankowski strikes out. Leote grounds out. Bottom of the 4th inning was a big missed opportunity. Fortunately, 2 innings later, bottom of the 6th, same situation. You got your best bats up, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Simi comes through with a bases clearing double that ultimately put the game out of reach. Now we're going to do some deeper dives into all the numbers and to some of the key situations in the game. We've already gotten started a little bit, but let me hit up the comments real quick. Langford just needs to focus on hitting and the power will come. Look, I kind of felt like that home run was going to unlock him a little bit. I've said that this whole season. When Langford hits that first one over the fences, I thought something was going to click. And so far, I've been right. Going to knock on wood right now for his sake, but I think Wyatt Langford, you're going to see a turn in him. I don't know if the home runs are going to be coming in droves, but I think ever since that home run over the fence, you're starting to see him heat up a little bit, get a little bit more confidence up at the plate. And he is one of, if not the hottest Rangers hitter right now, very, very easily. So Wyatt Langford, more on him in just a little bit. What's up, by the way? Thanks for tuning in. Juan Soto's having a great year for the Yankees. We'll get into around the league a little bit later on in the show after we wrap up talking Rangers. But Juan Soto is having a career year for the Yankees right now and a contract year nonetheless. Like, he's about to get paid for sure. It'd be interesting to see where Soto goes next year. Favorite team, Rangers, of course. I know I got the off logo, the City Connect logo on right now, but I mean, you got to see behind me, Texas Rangers all the way, absolutely. Now let's get back into the game. So box score read like this: Semien 1 for 4, 3 RBI. So Semien only one hit tonight, but it was probably the biggest hit of the game, clearing the bases in the bottom of the sixth. Semien up to a 252 average on the year. Seager, quiet 0 for 4 night for him. Unfortunate that he's not able to join the party. It's rare that Seager goes 0 for 4 and the Rangers win a game. I just don't feel like you look in the box score, you see Siegs 0 for, and you see a Rangers win. That wasn't like a tight, super close victory. This was a pretty comfortable win for the Rangers, fortunately. So Seager 0 for 4, 1 strikeout. He did have one hit. I want to say it was in the middle innings. 105 off the bat, line drive right at the right fielder, a little bit unlucky. So Seager was putting the ball in play today, didn't show up in the box score, but he had a scorcher, an atom ball right at the right fielder in the middle innings, a little bit unlucky. Josh Smith goes 1 for 3, and Dolly goes 1 for 3 as well with a walk. Good to see Dolly on base twice. The numbers coming into the game Dolly had against Brady Singer, the Royal starter, were pretty good. I think he was 3 for 8 with a triple in his career against Singer coming into this one. So he was facing a guy that he was very, very comfortable seeing in the box. And it showed tonight. Dolly on base twice, raises the average to 212. Oof. Dolly, man. We have got to do something about that. Adolis Garcia, of course, the numbers in his last 30 games are not good. 135 average for Dolly in his last 15, 155 in his last 30. It's not good for Dolly right now, but the good news is the Rangers get a win tonight, and there's some other guys that are picking it up currently. And we've got Josh Young potentially coming back at some point this weekend, I hear. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. It's going to be fun to see Josh Young's name back in the lineup. Look, we're going to temper expectations. I'm not expecting Josh Young to come in and light it up right away, but wouldn't that be fun? That would be a lot of fun. Rangers get Josh Young back and boom, home run right out the gate. Wouldn't that be a trip? I would love to see that. But I'm going to go in with very tempered expectations for Josh Young. I know in AAA right now, his rehab stint that he's on, he's kind of been going 1 for 4, 1 for 5. Nothing too gaudy. I think he had 2 hits in his first game. But look, good to see him getting hits down at AAA. He's obviously had a super long layoff. Regardless, it's going to be super fun to see Josh Young's name in that lineup. I was waiting for it tonight. I was kind of excited. I'm like, man, is this going to be the night? Are we going to see Josh Young in the lineup? Was a little disappointed to not see it happen, but this weekend, y'all, it's just fun seeing the Rangers get guys back healthy. Max Scherzer was slated to start tomorrow's game. It'll be John Gray instead. I think abundance of caution. Rangers are going to be starting Max Scherzer on Sunday. So it's going to be a great weekend. Rangers getting some reinforcements back. You got to love it. It's going to, I think, really boost the club, improve the culture. Not that it was like some kind of bad, toxic culture, but look, you got to just be real about some things. When your best players are out with injury, it sucks. It's a bummer. So for the Rangers to get some of these key players back, whether pitching has been the problem or not, and it hasn't been, getting Max Scherzer back, getting Cody Bradford back, getting those kinds of names back is a big boost for the clubhouse. So I really feel good about the Rangers in the second half of this year. A lot of people down on the Rangers right now. I've said to y'all multiple times over the past few weeks, it is a good time to buy the Rangers stock with all these names coming back. Look, you never know what's going to happen the rest of the way, but I'm buying Rangers stock right now. I really think this is a perfect buying opportunity. Look, I think the Rangers are 30-1 odds to win it all right now. They may have improved a little bit or maybe decreased a little bit, but it was 30-1 when I checked 2 weeks ago. I would buy that stock 100% just for the value alone. They were 12-1 to start the season. So I think a lot of people sleeping on the Rangers in the second half. I am buying Rangers stock. I think that they are going to have a good run of games here coming up in the next couple of months, especially as they get some of these guys back healthy. Let's talk about Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe, 3 for 4 tonight. That had to feel good for him. With Nate Lowe, he is such a lovable guy, such a good teammate. You just want him to do well. I really don't want to see Nate Lowe struggle this much. So to see him come through with 3 hits today, believe he had a double, that ground rule double as well, 4 total bases for Nate Lowe. This is what we need from him, especially from that 5 spot in the order. We need games like this from Nate Lowe. It's crazy. I've never watched Nate Lowe take batting practice, but a couple weeks ago, they were talking about Nate Lowe and they were talking about how he just puts on an absolute show during Rangers batting practice, which a lot of people don't get to see. By the time you get to the ballpark, if you're lucky, you're watching the visiting team hit. But the Rangers broadcasters were just talking about Nate Lowe's raw power and just how big of a display he puts on in BP. Man, would I love to see that from Nate Lowe. We've been talking about Wyatt Langford and the power outage with him. Wouldn't it be nice for our first baseman to start slugging the baseball? I sure would love to see it. The power stroke, it looked like it was there tonight. That double was smoked. That ground rule double that Nate Lowe hit, absolutely smoked. I'm hoping that the home runs, like for Wyatt Langford, can come for Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe, great guy, great teammate. Glad to see him go 3 for 4 tonight. Big part of that sixth inning for the Rangers, right? Getting things going, putting pressure on the pitching for the Kansas City Royals and on the defense. So Nate Lowe, big part of that 5-run sixth inning. Wyatt Langford, 2 for 4, 2 RBI, averages up to nearly 250 on the season. Wyatt Langford hit that home run, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday night against the Mets over the fences. And we said to y'all, when that home run comes, don't be shocked if he goes on a little bit of a heater. And right now, Wyatt Langford, his past 7 games, hitting .320 with a home run and 7 RBI. 7 RBI in his last 7 games for Wyatt Langford. Very impressive. Hope that continues. I really, really hope that they just leave Wyatt Langford alone at this point. Don't move him up in the lineup. Leave him right where he's at. He doesn't need to hit 3 spot. Just let him hit 5 or 6. Let him hit 6. I would keep him right in that 6 spot. We don't need to move him up in the order, create extra pressure. Don't fix what's not broke, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's exactly what I'd be doing with Wyatt Langford. He doesn't need to move up in the lineup. Leave him alone. He is raking right now from that 6 spot. I really would like to see them leave him right there. It's less pressure for him. You're not protecting Corey Seager. Right? That's a lot of pressure for a player. Josh Smith, I think, is in a great spot in the 3 hole. I'm pretty sure him and Josh Young are going to be flip-flopping 3 and 5 if I had to guess. I would imagine against lefties, you'll see Josh Young in the 3 hole. Against righties, you'll probably see Josh Smith. And Josh Young will be in the 5 spot against righties. That would be my guess. Interested to see what Boch decides to do. But I think they need to leave Langford right where he's at. Another guy who bounced back, I thought, with a really great day was Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim had 3 walks today. And look, didn't have a hit today, but I think just getting on base is a positive thing when you're a hitter. I can only draw off my own experiences. Played some high school ball, played a little bit of college ball, small school, nothing over the top, nothing huge. But I can just tell you, when you're in those ruts, even just drawing walks, I think does something for the psyche, for the confidence. So I'm really glad Jonah Heim on base 3 times tonight. You're seeing the ball well. I hope it translates into big hits moving forward, but glad to see that guy getting on base. Jonah Heim has been having a rough go of things. Jonah Heim, over his last 7 games, hitting 083, last 15 games, 167, last 30 games, hitting a $150. So Jonah Heim struggling right now. So this was a positive for him. I hope that he can get the bat going. Hope it can translate into some big base knocks in this series and down the stretch for the Rangers the rest of the year. I've said to y'all a few different times, some of the Rangers, and we're not hating right now, we're not trying to be disrespectful, but some of these Rangers bats have been so absolutely terribly disgusting in terms of the slumps, in terms of these just terrible ruts that they've been in. It can't get any worse. Like, I mean, maybe it could, but I would just say law of averages. It can't get much worse than what Dolly, what Heim, what some of these guys are doing right now. So that's why I feel positive. I think just again, law of averages, you're going to see some of these guys start to rebound. I mean, fingers crossed, my goodness. You can't get much worse than a $150 over your last 30. I mean, obviously I couldn't do any better, but I've got to think for some guys on this squad that were all-stars last year, right? Dolly all-star, Jonah Heim all-star. You've got to think that they're going to rebound. If I'm betting on a rebound versus them continuing to hit under 150 the rest of the season. So with that being said, let's keep on going down the list. Let me check some comments while I do. Semien, absolutely the hero tonight. Appreciate the comment. Semien definitely, I think, needed that one. I can't say he was as ice cold as some of the other guys on the team, but you just hadn't seen that huge knock from Marcus in a while. So I think to see Simi come through in that clutch situation, got to feel good for him. Just felt like we hadn't quite had that big Simi hit in a few weeks. So was glad to see him come through clutch in that moment. Absolutely. Rangers 5+ runs in 3 straight games. That does appear to be the recipe for success. Rangers score 5+. Good things usually happen. You score 4 or less, and it's probably not going to result in a victory. So Rangers, when they score 5+, usually you're going to see a W. But I think when the Rangers score 4 or less, I'd love to see the record, but I can't imagine it's very good. Can't imagine it's great. Jonah Heim, definitely. Still a young guy. And you know what? He had such a good season yesterday. And honestly, a reason why I probably haven't gotten on Jonah Heim as much as other players on the team is because he provides so much value with his glove and managing the pitching staff and rotation. I do think when you look at Jonah Heim, you have to consider that. Jonah Heim's value goes a lot further than just his bat. The Gold Glove behind the dish, the framing. He's an elite framer of the baseball, helping out pitchers, getting them calls. Jonah Heim, even though he's struggling with the bat, still is a very impactful player for this Rangers team. Hope the bat can follow. And you know what? If that ends up happening, again, just watch out for this team in the second half. I know that there's been times where it's been absolutely terrible. It sucked to watch this team. They've been in some bad ruts. But you know what? They can, I think, rebound, and they've shown you that they're able to score runs and they're able to come through in big situations against good teams. They did it against the Dodgers. The Royals are absolutely a good squad. They're capable. They've got to put it all together. The big names have to hit better. I know it's so simple. It might be an oversimplification, but that is what needs to happen. Dolly, Jonah Heim, some of the Rangers' big names need to come through in the big moments. Marcus Semien, and tonight, I think, was a positive step in that direction. Rangers 2 wins in a row. That's always a good thing. and hopefully they will get a series win out of this one. You got 2 games to do it. John Gray, another guy who is looking to bounce back. John Gray, of course, he gave up, 9 earned runs last time he was out. John Gray starts tomorrow. You know he'll be looking to rebound, and I think he will. Evo rebounded tonight. I think John Gray tomorrow will rebound with a quality start also. We'll get into that in just a little bit here. Let's go ahead and let's close things out, and we will then start previewing the matchup for tomorrow. But rest of the box score, nothing crazy. Looks like we had an 0 for night from Travis Jankowski. 0 for 2 eventually was pinch hit by Robbie Grossman. Robbie drew a walk, and I think he went 0 for 1 on the day. Leote, 1 for 4, runs scored. Glad to see him getting on base. Look, this is a stat line that I think is very, very doable from Leote Taveras. Give me 1 hit a night. I mean, look, it would be great to see 2 with Leote. If he can just go 1 for 4, maybe draw a walk here and there, I'm not mad at this stat line from him. This is your 9-hole hitter. I don't think anybody is consistently expecting a 9-hole hitter to go multi-hit every single game. If Leote can just give us 1 for 4, maybe 1 for 4 with a walk occasionally, depending on the night, you'll take that. So you know what? Good on Leote, and he ends up scoring a run tonight as well. So I think that the Rangers will take that from him on the heels of one of his best games as a Ranger, getting the home run, I should say, to at least salvage a win in that Mets series in the bottom of the 7th inning. Hopefully Leote can ride this positive momentum and have a great rest of the second half. I would love to see it. I'm cheering for it. And then in terms of the pitching, Leclerc tonight, look, file this one away. All my people out there, all my Rangers fans that hate Jose Leclerc, let's show him some love tonight. Yes, he made things a little interesting in the 8th inning, but he was going more than 1. And I know I said to myself, when they sent him out there for the 8th, I just said, look, not going to be surprised if he gets into a little bit of trouble. And sure enough, he did. Robertson comes in, is able to get the strikeout against Perez. But when Leclerc is going multiple innings, I don't think that you can fault the guy for giving up a hit and a walk. I would like to see Leclerc as much as possible just go 1 inning. He is a guy that can go 2. But for guys like Leclerc, when Leclerc threw that scoreless 7th, I just said to myself, man, would it be nice for him to just go out on that positive note. But Bochy, Maddox, they do like to stretch him out a little bit. Don't be mad at him for giving up a couple of base runners in his 2nd inning of work. He went a scoreless 7th. Clearly, they were thinking about trying to get Robertson a little bit of rest. I don't know. Maybe the play all along was stretch Leclerc out as long as possible. Robertson's going to give us 1 or 2 batters. I don't know. Would have to get the post-game comments from Bochy. Wish I could ask him questions sometimes. It sure would be fun. But you know what? It seemed like in that moment, they were hoping to get 2 out of Leclerc, and it just didn't happen. But Robertson only has to throw what looks like a total of 4 pitches tonight. You'll take that. 4 pitches from Robertson, strikes out Perez. But give Leclerc some flowers. Like every other night, people are trashing on him for giving up a home run. He pitched well tonight, inning and 2/3, only 2 base runners, strikes out 3. You got to give him some props at some point. And if you look at Jose Leclerc in his last 7 games, the stats are outstanding. Last 7 games for Leclerc, 2.89 ERA, right? 9 1/3 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts in 9 innings for Leclerc. Last 7 games, you'll take that. Those are outstanding stats. So Leclerc, good job tonight. And then we had, of course, Kirby Yates coming in, slamming the door shut, and he improves his ERA to 0.99 on the season. Kirby Yates did give up the double, struck out 2. When the Rangers have a lead in the 8th inning and beyond, they are quite successful. I think they've only lost a couple of games on the season. I don't think it's more than 3. It's a pretty outstanding record, getting close to, I think, 20 wins. maybe 3 losses, something like that, when the Rangers have an 8th-inning lead and beyond. So very impressive. Good to see Leclerc and Robertson bounce back. They kind of had the rough outings on Tuesday when we blew that 6-2 lead to the Mets. So I'm glad that Leclerc, Robertson come back tonight, able to have very, very solid outings. Robertson's was, of course, very, very short, but Leclerc, glad to see him go an inning and 2/3, no earned runs. And Yates, just Mr. Reliable back there. He gets, I believe, his not a save situation. I was about to say, I think it was his 12th save, but 4-run game, not a save situation. But I like that we go for the gusto in that moment, so to speak. We go for the win. I think a lot of times my biggest complaint has been first game of the series. We've done some weird things with the lineup, right? Sometimes we're giving a guy a day off on a Friday night. I mean, I know Josh Smith was dealing with some hammy stuff last weekend, but I'm glad Rangers put out pretty much everybody tonight. Nobody getting a weird random off day. And then you want to slam the door shut, even with the 4-run lead, ensure that you get the win tonight. And then you give yourself 2 chances Saturday, Sunday to get another series win over the Royals. Of course, when the Rangers went to Kansas City, what was that, about a month ago? We took 2 out of 3. Hope that we can do it again. I would be very happy with 2 out of 3. A sweep would be out of this world, but I'm not going to get greedy. Give me 2 out of 3 this weekend. I think tomorrow is an outstanding day. Ride the momentum from tonight. You got John Gray going. He is going to have a bounce back game tomorrow after allowing 9 earned runs in his start against the Mets, I believe. Was that on Monday? Believe so. Mets on Monday really tagged John Gray. Was he tipping his pitches? I don't know if we ever got the end of that story. At least I didn't. But you've got to imagine John Gray going to bounce back in a big way. Now, let me check comments real quick. I'll just go down the list no matter what it is. What position did I play in high school? High school played a lot of outfield, little bit of infield. But then in college, mainly just outfield from that point on. We've got, Juan Soto. Don't know what he's going to be doing. I don't know. I can imagine that the Yankees are going to be a big player in the Soto sweepstakes. Of course, Juan Soto, a free agent after this year. I'm not even going to get my hopes up that the Rangers have any chance of signing him after the offseason that they just had. A lot of things would have to work out with our money situation with Bally, the TV contract. I can imagine, though, all the big names. It's not going to shock me if the Dodgers are in on Soto. They just seem to have an endless pit of money and don't seem to care about paying the luxury tax. But I think the Yankees have a very good chance to re-sign him. I think that they have as good of a chance as any. Langford is slowly putting things together as well, no doubt. We read the stats. Langford's last 7 games, he's got a home run, 7 RBI in his last 7 games, hitting about 320. Langford definitely is coming around. Rangers' result tonight was a 6-2 victory over the Royals. So good to get the Rangers 2 wins in a row here after a tough series against the Mariners and the Mets. It was getting ugly there for a second. So I will take 2 wins in a row. Of course, Rangers beat the Mets on Wednesday, and they win tonight against KC. We're going to go to final comment here, a couple more, and then we'll look at the matchup for tomorrow. This comment says, I'm interested to see where Carter plays when he comes back. Hopefully he plays center and they leave Langford in left field. Yeah, I would say, I think what I heard is Carter is going to be doing some rehab work pretty soon here. When he comes back, I don't think they're going to rush him into an everyday role. So I imagine they're going to probably try and ease him back in, probably platoon him if I had to guess. They'll let him probably get some starts against some righties. I'm not sure if the plan's going to be any different. I would imagine that for a little while, they're going to probably keep benching him against lefties. Maybe now that he's had a little reset, they'll try and see what he can do against lefties. But I imagine bringing him back from the back injury. We all know back injuries can be very, very fickle, kind of a little bit testy. I don't know. I think that they're probably going to go the platoon route. And I would imagine that the long-term play is to get Evan Carter in center field. He logged, I believe, I looked this up one time. I hope that I'm not too far off, but I believe he logged over 1,000 minor league hours in center field. Well, we're talking about Evan Carter. Evan Carter logged over 1,000 minor league innings in center field. So I think he's a capable center fielder. Is he going to be in that everyday role right away? Probably not. And I think a lot of it's going to depend on how Leote plays. Leote, obviously, a nice 2-game stretch here. Can he be consistent? Time will tell. If Leote is giving you 1 for 4 every night, though, giving you maybe 1 for 4 with a walk, getting on base a couple times, I think that they'll probably keep doing the platoon this year. Now, Leote, his contract is coming up here, expiring, I think at the end of this year or next year. So they'll have some decisions to make. I can't see them re-signing Leote at any kind of crazy price. If he really wanted to stay in Texas and maybe be kind of a depth player, great. But I can imagine a guy like him probably want to go somewhere where you can get every day at bats. I don't think Leote is in the long-term plans, but we'll see. Who knows? And obviously there's 87, something like that, games left in the season. There's a lot. So I think at this point, it's kind of wait and see when Evan Carter gets back. Kirby Yates, yes, absolute stud. Love that guy. Did not expect him to be our closer. I thought it was going to be a lot of David Robertson and Jose Leclerc, to be honest. I did not think that Yates was going to be our closer. But you know what? I will gladly take it. That dude has been one of the best pickups of the offseason in Major League Baseball. And that's not hyperbole. You look at what Kirby Yates is doing for the Rangers closing games. You're talking about a guy with a sub-1 ERA. I think he's blown maybe 1 or 2 games and has had a lot of different opportunities. So I would be very confident in saying Kirby Yates probably a top 5 free agent acquisition in this offseason. We all know how problematic it can be for your squad when you don't have a closer. And the Rangers struggled. They blew over 30 games last year. The Rangers blew over 30 saves last year. I think it was like 32 or 33 in the midst of a World Series winning year. Crazy enough. So if the Rangers can fix that, you would have thought that this would have been a 100-win season. Now, the offense has not lived up to the expectations this year. But I think if you would have told me that we have a lockdown closer coming into this year at the beginning of the season, I would have booked the Rangers for 100 wins easy. Now, at this point, seeing what the offense has done, the Rangers have dug themselves a bit of a hole. I don't think 100 wins is in the cards. I mean, could it happen? Sure. But the Rangers would have to go on a pretty crazy run at this point. I believe, if you just do the simple math here, they'd have to go something like 64-20 to win 100 games this year. Probably not going to happen. If they want to win 90 games, they'd have to go like 54-30. That's a little more doable, but 54-30 is even a pretty good clip. 54-30, you are getting hot and putting some win streaks together. We'll see what happens, but Kirby Yates, to put a bow on this, yes, absolutely. One of the MVPs, I think, of the season. I think it goes Josh Smith. I don't want to put this in any particular order. Josh Smith, though, probably number 1. And then do you go Yates, Robertson? I know Robertson's ERA is not as sparkling as Yates, but I would say those 3 guys are definitely up there in my MVP for the Rangers first half. Now, let's look at the matchup for tomorrow. Let's see what we got going on. Jon Gray, obviously the starting pitcher for the Rangers tomorrow. We talked about Jon Gray already, 9 earned runs against the Mets on Monday night. Looking for a good bounce back from him, and I think it's going to happen. I don't know what the career numbers are against the Royals for Jon Gray. I'll take a look at those. Maybe I can pull it up on the fly here. We'll see. But Royals are going to have Michael Wacha throwing, and Michael Wacha, 4.24 ERA on the season. Last 7 games, 4.54 ERA. And he's actually coming off those 3 pretty solid games where he's given up 2 runs or less. So San Diego, 5 1/3, 2 earned runs. Tampa Bay, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Detroit, 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. So Michael Wacha has been on a pretty good little stretch for the Royals. So we'll see. Might be a little bit of a pitcher's duel. I don't know. Jon Gray, the last 7 games, it's going to be a little bit ugly with those 9 earned runs. So I don't think I'm going to lock in on that. But let me see if I can pull up the career numbers for you. And then we're going to look at the career numbers that the Rangers have against Michael Wacha. See if there's anybody to highlight, look out for. There's got to be a couple of guys with some good numbers against Wacha. I can only imagine. So first of all, let me see if I can get this Jon Gray career versus Royals. Let's see what pulls up. But at this point, let's look at the preview for the matchups for Michael Wacha. So he's got, looks like, some decent numbers against some Rangers players, but look, the guys that matter, Seager, Semien, both are batting over 400 against Michael Wacha in their careers. Seager, 467 average in 15 at-bats. Semien, 429 average in 7 at-bats. We got Leote, 1 for 2. Let's see. We've got nobody with the home run. Heim, 1 for 2. Jankowski, 1 for 3. Nate Lowe, actually 3 for 7. So we've got a few Rangers with some good numbers, but the sample size is not crazy. Corey Seager is the guy with the most at-bats, 15. Everybody else single digits. And then against Gray, there is, looks like, Hunter Renfroe, probably the guy to circle. Hunter Renfroe against Gray is hitting 400 in 15 at-bats with 3 bombs. Hunter Renfroe, the only Royal that's hit a home run in his career against Jon Gray. There's really not a whole lot else that's notable to mention. Bobby Witt is 3 for 6. 3 for 6, so small sample size. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot of other guys that I'd be worried about. You're circling Bobby Witt already as a guy to look out for in the lineup. But Hunter Renfroe, believe he is hitting like 6 for 15 with 3 bombs against Gray. So got to watch out there. Jon Gray in his career against the Royals, 1-1 record with a 2.18 ERA. Last time he faced the Royals was actually in the series in Kansas City earlier this year, and Jon Gray went 7 strong innings and only gave up 2 earned runs. So the last time Jon Gray faced the Royals in Kansas City earlier this year, it was a good outing for him. I would expect that to happen again tomorrow, especially on the heels of a very bad game for Jon Gray. Hopefully it's good stuff tomorrow for both Jon and the Rangers bats. Would love to see them continue this hot hitting. Now, other than that, I think we're just going to go around the AL West, see what the scores are looking like, see if any games have gone final, and then we'll look at the division. We'll look at some MLB headlines. We'll check comments one last time, and then we will get out of here and enjoy the rest of this Friday night. So the Astros are in a slugfest with the Orioles right now. The Orioles trail the Astros in Houston 14-11. Astros up by 3 in the bottom of the 8th. So Orioles last chance, top of the 9th coming up. We've got the A's losing 5-4 in Oakland to the Twins. And beyond that, we have the Mariners losing to the Marlins in Miami 3-2. Not something I expected to see. Not something I expected to see at all. The Marlins taking a game from the Mariners. But you know what? At this point, I think the Rangers will take it. So now let's go to the standings. So we've got Mariners, of course, in first place. And with the loss tonight, their lead shrinks down to 7.5 games over both the Astros and the Rangers. Identical records, I believe, for Houston and Texas. But I think if Houston were to win tonight, technically they creep up a half game and they are alone in that second place spot. They would improve to 36-40 with the win. Rangers 35-40 currently. The Angels, we didn't talk about them. Did I miss that Angels score? Let's see if I can get it for y'all. So right now the Angels are in a little freeway series with the Dodgers, and it is 0-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Looks like Ohtani just got out. Teoscar Hernandez up to bat. Mookie Betts out for a little while. He had that Josh Young injury, hit by a pitch on his wrist. We'll see what the Dodgers do. Actually, looks like Dodgers are up 2-0 at this point. Maybe I read that Ohtani one wrong. Did he just go yard? Sure enough. Yep. Ohtani goes yard, 22nd home run on the season. So they are now up 2-0 on the Angels. Check out the exit velo on this Ohtani home run. 113 miles an hour, 455 feet. Did y'all see, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago? Ohtani hitting like a 475-foot home run. My goodness. That is just prodigious power. So Ohtani powering the Dodgers once again to a 2-0 lead. Again, that game in the bottom of the fifth inning. Looks like the fifth inning just ended. So the Angels, I said to y'all, when I checked out the standings a couple of nights ago, I was shocked to see the Angels only a few games behind the Rangers and the Astros. Now they're on a 2-game losing streak right now, and the Angels are 13 games back, 5.5 games behind the Rangers currently. They would bounce back to 6 full games behind the Rangers with the loss tonight. And the A's, 15.5 back, 8 games back of the Rangers. They'd go back to 8.5 with a loss tonight, and they are trending that direction. Now, let's go ahead and let's take a look at anything else going on around the league. By the way, watched last night that San Francisco St. Louis game. That was a real treat to watch. A tribute to the Negro Leagues. It was great what they did with the broadcast. I don't know if you guys got to see it, but they kind of showed like a little bit of the old school broadcast, like how it used to look when you were watching a game in the mid 1900s. It was great. And it was a pretty good game too. Loved what they did there. Hope they did it again. You guys know I'm a gamer. Love MLB The Show. MLB The Show this year did a really big tribute to the Negro Leagues, teaching and educating people about some of the best baseball players in the Negro Leagues that never got a chance to play professional baseball because of racism. I absolutely love learning about the history of the game. Obviously, tragic and terrible that those players never got to compete at the major league level. But I'll tell you what, I really love what they're doing this year, both with MLB The Show, but also with MLB honoring some of those players. I think it's great. So that was awesome watching that game. Beyond that, let's go headlines on the front page. We've got Mets continuing to play very, very well despite the loss to us on Wednesday night. They won again tonight. So the Mets, I believe, in terms of their last 10 games, Mets have won 8 of their last 10. So Mets, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. And you know what? We just played them, I think, at a really unfortunate time. But I think that they are going to make things interesting. A lot of people thought they were going to be sellers. I was already eyeing Pete Alonso. If they keep playing like this, I don't think Pete Alonso is going to be on the board. Beyond that, let's check out a couple other things. Yankees, rough start from Carlos Rodon. It looks like they lost today. What was the final score? They're playing the Braves right now, 8-1. Hey, Yanks are still 51-27 on the year. I think they're going to be okay. But Braves beating up on the Yankees a little bit right now. Look, I'm not feeling too sorry for them. I'd love to be 51-27 right now. And beyond that, doesn't look like there's a whole lot else notable going on at this moment. We'll probably check out that Angels-Dodgers game. Kind of fun to see Ohtani play his former team. Looks like they are playing, though. Is it a home game for the Dodgers? Yes, home game for the Dodgers. I think he already made his return to Anaheim earlier in the season. So always fun, though, when you get to play a former team. So we'll probably tune into that one the rest of the night. But beyond that, y'all, let me check the comments one more time and let's get out of here and enjoy the rest of this Friday night. Appreciate y'all sticking with me. So last comment looks like it says, right now I would play Leote against lefties, Carter against righties. Yeah, that's always been what I've said. Leote last season hit over 300. Hit over 300 against left-handed starting pitching. I think it was like 310 or somewhere around that. Leote hit 310 against lefty starters. So I think it's a very natural decision. Leote plays against lefties. Carter plays against righties. I would love to see that happen. I hope that's what they do. I think it's going to kind of depend on who's hot, who's not, but we'll see. It's going to be fun watching what the Rangers do with the lineup, especially when they get Josh Young back. Hopefully that's tomorrow, if not Sunday. That's going to be a lot of fun watching Josh Young make his debut after the injury. I know he played a few games this year, but still kind of feels like he's playing for the first time this season. And then Max Scherzer genuinely making his debut. Love to see that. Can't wait for Sunday to watch Mad Max out there on the bump. Want to say, you guys, if you're watching right now and you haven't followed or subscribed to the channel, thank you for doing so. I'd really appreciate it. And if you know another Major League Baseball fan, you know somebody that loves baseball or loves Rangers baseball, please share this video with them. Tell them about the account. Tell them about the channel. Let's keep growing this community of good people talking baseball, talking Rangers baseball. It's why I started this in the first place. I would be very, very grateful if you did so. All right. Well, let's do this again tomorrow, preferably after another Rangers win. I got a good feeling. I don't say this all the time, but I think that John Gray's going to have a great start tomorrow, and the offense is going to keep on rolling. Could be wrong, but just a good feeling I have. Our system, betting 1 cent on Texas Rangers money line for every follower that we have. It is looking better after 2 wins in a row. I will update y'all tomorrow with the reel, with the video that I put out probably sometime in the morning. Tomorrow's game, by the way, we totally whiffed on that. Tomorrow's game between the Royals and the Rangers looks like we have got, is it a little bit of an earlier start? Let me check this out here. Looks like we are starting at 3:05 Texas time. So that's a 1:05 start for me out here in Vegas. So we'll be coming at you as close as possible after the game is over, and it's going to be after a Rangers win. We're putting those positive vibes out there right now, y'all. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday night and a good weekend ahead. Hope to see you tomorrow on the live or on the replay at some point. If not, hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy it. And as I always say to end every show, God bless. Go Rangers.